Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining my channel. Medina here, and I would like to chat to you today about some areas where I am particularly specialized in, which is health and wellness. And so I'd love to share with you some information that I think is incredibly important at the moment. Some is protocols that you can use at this time for various different reasons. And the other is talking about the issue of food and how we're eating at the moment. So I'd like to start off with information of one protocol, and then I'm going to talk about some more protocols later. But there's one protocol at the moment that I've never talked about yet, but it is a wonderful advanced technology, and many people now on social media are talking about it. You probably see it everywhere. I started using it a while ago, and it's called Roots, and it is a really sort of a bit of a groundbreaking, cutting edge um, technology that has been developed by a lady that is incredibly has incredible expertise in her area of, the human body, biochemistry, all that sort of thing. And she has helped with this protocol to be of use in the area of things like general health issues, any health issues, things to do with, well, some people call it shedding, but it's more accurately called transmission from this, um, effects of this for anyone who's had adverse reactions, for a whole range of issues to do with the human being at the moment. And this Roots product has three different separate bottles called, one of them is called Clean Slate, which basically brings your energy back to a clean slate of health and sort of rebuilds it from there. And two other protocols that I'll put up here on the screen. And also there's a product called Restore, which is a product that you have when you are wanting to rejuvenate your energy and restore your energy. And I must say, the other day I was incredibly tired. I'd done a lot of different things, and I'd done two huge global workshops in a day with upgrades and activations. And a couple of days after that, I had a day I was just feeling really zapped. So I had one of these Restore packets, and that day I completely rejuvenated my energy and felt, really good again. And I think that Restore made a big difference. So these products are quite different to anything else, and they are really advanced in their development and their technology. So I would encourage people to look into Roots. I'll leave some links below. I also have an affiliate link, so if anyone's interested and wants to um, become a member or to purchase one, please feel welcome to use my affiliate link below. And that is one of the major protocols I really encourage at the moment. I'll get to some more later. So everyone, I feel, at the moment on the planet is really being encouraged to look at their diet, the food that they eat. And by diet, I don't mean having a diet of, certain foods, but what they eat, basically. And so food is crucial at the moment. And you may have been noticing that with these absolutely mammoth we've been having from the sun. For example, normally, with our sun, we don't have solar X1 flares. We've had many solar X1 flares recently, and we've even just had solar X2 flares recently, which are quite rare. And these have the ability to really bring down huge amounts of light that will really transmute and change, the structure of our bodies from carbon to crystalline. So our bodies are really being pushed in this ascension process to upgrade, and they're being activated daily on the most incredible amounts. I heard someone talking the other day, and they said that in one day's time here on planet Earth at the moment, we have so much information coming to us that 100 years ago, the amount of information that we would receive in one day would be equivalent to a whole lifetime 100 years ago. And I thought that was very interesting. And then on top of that, you're adding all these cosmic, solar activations and upgrades. And also collectively, the planet is raising its consciousness. So as a planet raises, again, that shifts the quantum field and the energetics and pushes us to accelerate our own spiritual growth. So really, really important to be focusing on what you're putting in your temple at the moment. And you may have been noticing that you're changing how you eat, or you can't eat the amounts that you used to be able to eat. You have to eat much smaller portions, and that the food that you're eating is changing in terms of what you can digest and what feels comfortable and what isn't too heavy. And if you've been tuning into this, most people, I think, on the planet have been really being guided to eat lighter meals, to eat meals that are in alignment with their own bodies and their own biochemistry. For me, when I talk personally, I have had to completely rechange my whole, is that a word, rechange? I'm not sure, but I had to completely flip my whole diet on its head, because portion size had to bring that right down. So I've changed the plates that I'm using so that they're much smaller now. So when I put portion sizes in them, they fit in the plate instead of using other plates or bigger plates. So that's one way that you can solve the dilemma to fit with your energy. And what I'm doing now is I'm having, I notice, more of, it's like grazing, where you have a little bit when you're hungry and then you wait a while and then you get hungry again, but you get hungry more often, but then you just graze a little bit more, and you tune in intuitively to what you're guided to eat in that moment. So your body has its own internal intelligence, and if you listen to it, it would tell you what it needs. You can ask your body and say, dear body, what do you feel like eating now if you're hungry and you have the impetus to eat? And so this is something that is going to be really helpful at the moment. On top of that, we're eating meals that are less heavy. And so things that are like heavy, for me, heavy protein meals, trying to have sort of portions and food that is easy for me to digest, that sits easily in my stomach and doesn't sit there for ages and feel heavy. I have personally challenges with red meat at the moment, digesting it, but that's just me. Some people may love it, might be really good for them. But for me, I'm tending to just go for the, the fish and the lighter meats like that. So that is what's working for me at the moment. And then, having vegetables, for me, fruit, because it has a lot of glucose and sugar in it, can be a bit much for me at the moment in terms of that. So I'm just watching that. I'm tending to go for myself more on a keto type of program with a lot of protein. Sardines are great for me, for example. So things like that. And there's obviously a smaller range of what I can eat. But, when you cut back and strip it back, you really, really enjoy it because you're having less amounts and you sort of really appreciate it more. Something else that's really helped me on this journey has been I had a really strong inner guidance to fast. So I had a 5.5 day water fast, and that was absolutely brilliant. It wasn't as hard as I thought it would be, and I didn't get any bad headaches or anything, which was fantastic. And I also would put a little bit of Celtic salt on my tongue every time that I'd have water, because it's important to make sure that you have salt, or that your body has that in it as well. And I think that made it easier as well. And I always bless my water too when I drink it, a la Ian Welsh, as he tells people to program their water. And it was much easier, than I thought. The first day was the hardest, and then the third and fourth day were a little challenging, and then the fifth day was pretty good. But I did start to get weaker, by the fifth day, and then I was not sure whether I'd go longer on it, but I was going to read my energy and read my body. And by the sixth day, I started to feel quite weak, in really low in energy, and I felt like when I tuned in and I asked, should I continue, I got, no, it's good for me to stop now. But it could be different for everyone, and it's really about also listening to your body, reading your body. Also, this is my experience, so it's really important, if you've got any health issues, to just be aware of all that as well if you're going to do a water fast. So it depends on each person. You have to look at your own body, what you're experiencing, and then run it through, that filter. So that was, anyway, brilliant for me, and it made me really also appreciate food. So I was so excited to, for example, start tasting blueberries again. They just tasted so good. And now I'm really, I guess you would say, seeing food quite differently, experiencing it differently after the fast, which was finished just a few days ago. I also did clear my schedule a bit so that I had the space to do it. And I also found that self-nurturing things like Epsom salts, baths. I also have a quantum frequency device called Healy. It has nutritional programs on it. So I was doing the frequency nutritional programs on that. I don't, things like that. So very mindful throughout of self-nurturing and self-care, and, not pushing myself in any way. So this was brilliant for my journey. And the other point that I want to make with the food and the diet that you have at the moment is that there's so many things, and this is one of the reasons I was guided to completely change everything I'm doing, was that the whole food chain, the whole issue of the food that we are being given through our food outlets at the moment, some of it has been tampered with. And, there are things going into our food that are really not good for us now, even more than before. Obviously, a lot of the flavors and preservatives and things aren't good anyway in the processed foods, things like that. But there's also, the crickets. I'll leave a meme up here for you to see, but, crickets going into the food now. So Tim Tams, for example, one example where they're putting those into our food. Now, if you research chick cane or whatever it's called, the byproducts of that, the crickets have things in them like horse parasites, which are really long parasites. It's horrible. And our bodies don't have the natural ability to break down things like insects and crickets because we're not supposed to be eating them. So really important to read all the labels very carefully on your food right now. You need to be really looking at if you're going to buy processed food, really looking at the information. And of course, it's so small, you can barely read it. So you need a magnifying glass to read it most of the time. But nevertheless, and so for me, I've really completely gone off pretty much all processed foods now. I'm going to basic foods, basic food structures, vegetables, for example, or fish, things that haven't been added to in any way. My friend was saying it's aisle 3 in the supermarkets is the aisle you want to avoid with a lot of the processed foods. I said, is that in most supermarkets? He said, yes. He said, anything in a box, he's not buying or not going to aisle 3. So, staying out of the conditioning, cultural conditioning of our society, which has pushed all this artificial food onto us and is becoming more and more questionable about what's in this food. If it's coming from China, I would be, really questioning whether it's worth eating. There's rice, for example, that's been made in China, made out of plastic, and there's new artificial ice cream that is now synthetic, made out of synthetics. I'll leave more information here on that. So really, really be careful what you're putting into your beautiful bodies, into your temples. And this is just one more way that the cabal, in their last gasp, in their last desperate gasp as they're going down, are striving to take down humanity through the poisoning of the food supplies. Okay. And of course, water is crucial. Having filtered water, not buying bottled water at the moment, I don't trust that. Having water that you've blessed, that you've put an intention, a powerful intention into before you drink. And in the Ian Welsh workshops, we'll discuss exactly how you can do all that, which is brilliant. And you can do it at home, of course, as well, putting your intentions into the water. But these types of things are so important. In America, for example, there are certain states and areas where the water supply right now is really questionable. Ohio being one of them, you know. So the quality of your water is really crucial. And then having, you know, a little bit of Celtic salt, salt on your tongue, because it has 80% of the minerals that your body needs in the Celtic salt, and it helps you actually integrate and break down the water and hydrate with the water, because often our bodies are not able to fully absorb the water properly, and so we have a drink, but then very soon after we're still feeling dehydrated. So the Celtic salt helps you to absorb and to sort of integrate the water in your bodies. That's why it's so good to have every time that you drink water. Okay, so these are some of the major points that are really helpful at the minute. Of course, I offer more personal and specific information and guidance if you have a session with me. I have sessions available, my link's below. I also have 6 weeks of mentoring, which is very affordable. And then you can work with me for 6 weeks on all of the issues that you're dealing with that are coming up at the moment. And we can work on healing, clearing, transmuting, and becoming aware, and then, you know, releasing anything that no longer serves you. So that's also an option for people if they're guided. You know, I'd love to work with you. Now, the protocols that I recommend, as well as roots, are, and I talk about Healy all the time, so obviously Healy. And if you're interested in learning more about that, I'll put some links in below. We have some super discounts this month, as usual. Some amazing special offers lately with Healy, like 40% off. So if you're interested in this quantum device, it is incredible. Please contact me. I use mine every day, and so does all my family, including my dog. And I think, you know, I've left a lot of information about that on my channel, a lot of videos. If you want more, please ask. But some other protocols on top of that that are really ones that I've been guided to use. And these are ones I don't have any affiliate connection with. You know, I'm not making any sort of personal gain from talking about them, but I'm just sharing them with you because they're really good. Nanosoma. I'm going to leave a link below about Nanosoma. Again, this is another development that is to do with advanced technology, and it's way too complex for me to explain it here. But I'll leave a link below. But it has material in it from the glaciers in Switzerland, and it is a protocol that I have noticed when I use it has amazing benefits and results. For example, if you have a cut on your hand and you spray it on that, the cut heals super, super quickly. And it is for a whole range of things at the moment. It's for taking internally to build your immunity and to also get rid of any things in the body that have been working against your perfect health. So any vulnerabilities in your body. And if it resonates with you, there's a link below, and it's a great product. I can tell you that if you're wanting to purchase one and you're in Australia, so if you're part of my Patreon community, again, link below, I can put you in contact with her, and she is doing this wholesale. So you're getting a big discount on this product, and you can purchase it wholesale, which is incredibly kind of her. So just join my Patreon community and email me, and I'll get you all that information, and you can purchase that Nanosoma wholesale if you're in Australia. What else? Okay, so the other one that I think is really, really beneficial at the moment, and all these ones that I've mentioned are ones that I intuitively on a higher level have been guided to use myself and to experience them myself. The other one is Azea. Azea, you can drink the water. They have a special water that's really, really good for you. And they also have, for example, a gel, so you can put it on your skin. And when I was having a skin issue for many years, and the other products that I've just mentioned weren't actually available, but this was available, I would use this on my skin. It was literally the only thing that would work on my skin to help my skin, these Azea gel. And it is actually, again, an advanced technology. So it's apparently come from the Arcturians. It's been downloaded from them as a healing tool for humanity at the moment. And Azea is a wonderful product. Interestingly, in the history of Azea, the pharmaceutical companies offered to buy the patent for this product, and the people who created it were amazing, because they offered such a huge offer that for generations these people's families would have been provided for and looked after through big pharma. And they knocked it back, and they kept the patent because they didn't want it to be put on a shelf or kept from humanity, which is pretty amazing. And so they have continued to distribute this themselves, and now it's all around the planet. So good on them. I love to hear that sort of thing. So Azea is another amazing option, and maybe just tune in when you listen to all these options and see what resonates for you. I can leave links below as well for Azea. And then there is one other thing that I will, in transparency, so I haven't experienced myself, but I intuitively know and feel and have heard from friends that this is very good, are light wave patches. Now, I think I heard about light wave patches about 20 years ago from a friend who said they were really helping her. I think she had a smoking issue and she was using them for that. But the light wave patches are another way that you can, at a cellular level, work on your own perfect health. It's never been a more important time to work on building perfect health and building our highest level of immunity, and to work on the highest levels of self-care. The other day, when I was really tired, I put so much time that day into my own self-care. I thought, what are all the things that can really help me at the moment? And then I went through them throughout the day, and just to really build and strengthen my energy. So, this is really, really a super, super important time to focus on self-care, self-nurturing. So light wave patches are also great. I don't have any information on those further, but I know intuitively and from friends and everything that they are good as well. So I can't leave a link for those ones. The other thing that is powerfully important is, because we're in the process of ascending at the moment, and we are getting all these high downloads. So there's a lot going on in our higher chakras and our crown chakras and things like that. We also find that we can easily be ungrounded. Our energy sort of going up and disconnecting from Mother Earth. And also the other thing that happens when we hear something that brings in negativity or is fear-based, that can also disconnect us from Mother Earth and from grounding, because we go up. And with the spiritual war and the intensity of the stage that it's in now, people can easily be triggered. So to remain grounded is a key factor as well. It helps you on many, many levels. And you can, as you know, ground yourself by putting your feet on Mother Earth, visualizing your grounding cord going in, wrapping around the crystalline core of the 6-dimensional or plus, Mother Earth. You can put your roots from your feet like a tree into the earth, 6-dimensional plus Mother Earth. And tapping your cheekbones grounds your energy. This is a fantastic EFT technique, tapping your cheekbones straight away. If you could see your energetic field and your aura go straight down into the earth when you do that. And grounding sheets. I have a grounding sheet here. I did a link below to a video that I did on grounding. So if you want to see more about grounding, there's a product in Australia called Better Earthing, where you can purchase these grounding sheets, and they're made it's all Australian. So where the product is coming from Australia, and it's not made in China, for example. So these grounding sheets are really well made, quality, and they're great. So grounding your energy is extremely important. I did a community chat last night in my beautiful Patreon community. We do it fortnightly, and anyone out there who's feeling lonely or isolated, if you join my Patreon community at level 3, $10 a month, you can join these community chats, and they're very supportive, very warm, and we share our experiences of what we're going through on the planet at the moment. And so it's just an additional way to feel supported, and to feel like you're with people that you relate to, because we all share the experiences of what it's like to be a human being on the planet at this time, which is an unprecedented time, as we know. And, in this chat, we talked about what we were grateful for. And it was fascinating that the majority of people that talked about what they were grateful for at the moment was, one was being here at this time, experiencing this transition, because even though obviously there's challenges with it, it is exciting, and it's incredibly, when you really look at the ramifications of what it means for a planet and the beings upon it to transition into a higher dimension, it's incredibly auspicious to be here at this time, and we all acknowledged and recognized that. But the other thing that we really also shared was that we loved and appreciated nature so much. People were saying they appreciated their gardens and their flowers, around them. And there was one lady who had a particular affinity with birds, and she was talking about how her connection with birds was so important to her, and just going out and listening to the birds and the bird songs. And she also had a couple of birds as pets, and so that was her thing that she's particularly grateful for. A lot of people mentioned aspects of nature, and I thought that that was very, very interesting. So don't underestimate the power of your connection to nature and to animals and birds and those things at the moment, and to see the beauty in the simple things and the smaller things is really important. And to be able to be in a quiet, still space where you're able to slow your energy down so that you can appreciate those things. There is such an energy at the moment that the cabal, the globalist agenda, whatever you want to call it, the dark ones, have been pushing, which is to push people who are still in the matrix, push them to their uppermost limit. So make them work longer hours, do more. And of course, with everything happening with the consequences of this that's going in people's arms, and the people dropping out of the workforce, not being able to work, and even the deaths relating to that, which of course are completely suppressed and are way more than we have any awareness of, because we're not being told, but I intuitively know it's way more than what anyone realizes probably at the minute. Not that we want to focus on that, but I'm just speaking the truth here. You know, the people that are still left in the matrix are being pushed and pushed and pushed. Their boundaries are being pushed and pushed and pushed, so they're becoming more and more exhausted. So if you're one of these people that is being pushed to the limit in your work and is really exhausted, I perhaps encourage you to really put in firm boundaries, to reevaluate where you are, because this is part of the process actually of the whole matrix system breaking down. But do you want to be a casualty of that? That's the question. And, you know, this being still stuck in that can really impact your health. And, you know, if we don't have our health, it's really hard to function well in this world. You know, our health is so important. So if you're one of these people being in that situation, becoming more and more exhausted, you're one of the ones who's being asked perhaps to stand up and to make a stand and say no. And that helps change the whole structure and the system as well. So maybe one of those warriors who reevaluates why you're there, and perhaps also looks at, you know, we can get stuck in what's familiar, and be you know, courageous enough to change what we're familiar with and secure with for something that perhaps is it's an unknown. But, you know, when you take these risks, you get rewarded spiritually, because they're often spiritual tests. So that is something else that, you know, I really want to tell people is out there in the collective at the moment. So these are some of the major things that I wanted to talk about today. I just want to commend everyone who's here on the planet. You are master souls to be here at this time. Don't forget that. This is a time when we are asked to fully activate and tap into our highest strength, our highest warrior spirit. I have a strong song about strength, and that I'm going to leave a link below for that. But when you listen to this song, it's about really, and the energy of the song, really standing in your full strength right now and embody the fullness of the warrior spirit that you are to be here at this time. So thank you so much for listening. I hope that you found some things here that were really helpful. It is an honor to be able to share this channel with you, share information with you. I'd love to spread this channel more. So please share this channel as much as you can. Share with maybe 3 or 4 friends. That would be wonderful if you could. Share this video if you really enjoy it. And also encourage people to join my beautiful Patreon community. Share a lot of information, resources, free gifts there, and offer different things like the community chats. We have a soul healing or soul mastery group for planetary healing. Next week we have, because we have guest speakers, and next week we have an incredible guest speaker called Belinda Bucknell, who is going to be teaching us some wonderful information and we're going to go through those practices as we listen in that session. Amazing sessions on different forms of healing and different alternative modalities from time to time in this group. And that beautiful guest is coming next week. So if you want to join for that, It's $10 a month in my Patreon community. And these are all things that I'm offering to help support the collective at this time on the planet and help assist in this process of ascension in my own humble way. So thank you. I think I've covered everything for now. I'm sure I'll think of 10 things as soon as I hop off. But you can also, if you have particular questions you'd like to ask me, or particular areas of interest that you have that you'd like covered, please send me an email and I'll cover them in a video. So I'd love to hear what you'd like to have more information on. I can also offer workshops in a whole range of areas. I just need people to tell me, you know, what they would like. I'm still running the incredible Ian Welsh workshops too. Introduction, advanced, which is intermediate, and masterclass. And, you know, these workshops are life-changing, and the links to Ian Welsh workshops are below. Got plenty of videos on that for you to look at and research. That's all golden age practices and techniques. And I think I've covered everything. The other thing I guess too I could say was that there is also the potential of running an inner child workshop where we work on the inner child and healing anything that is unhealed or any wounding from the inner child in this lifetime. And that is also something that many people, I'm noticing, are needing to work on at the minute as they sort of grow in their own soul evolution. These things that are at the deeper levels are often coming up to be transmuted, and maybe they feel stuck, or if they're getting triggered a lot by an emotional thing, or it's often leading back to the inner child. So if you're interested in a workshop on the inner child, please email me at my email below and I can set up a workshop for you to work on the inner child. So thank you, everyone, again. Appreciate you listening and sending lots of love to everyone out there. You are amazing. Thank you. Bye.